All right, Jason's joining.
Hello.
Hello.
How are you?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. Can't complain. Hanging
Good.
out
I'm
my.
glad that we are able to get on very easily. Look, you got your headphones in too.
Yeah, can you can hear me? I assume. It's,
Yes. Well,
yeah,
thank
no,
you
I'm
so much for
excited.
joining me.
Well, thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Yeah. How are you doing?
I'm good. Just set up, doing a little film studio kind of thing to make things a little bit easier for people to watch, it's really for myself. It's really what it comes down to. Is I'm selfish and
Yeah.
so
Sometimes
yeah.
I watch some of your videos and I just think to myself, was he just sitting on the couch and decided he wanted to shoot this?
100%. That is, I said, well, like one of my favorite videos was a video, like a lot of people that aren't in the fire service will relate to it, but so like if you're on the fire truck, it's a lot more exciting, it's easier, it's like the stuff we
Mhm.
want to do all the time versus the ambulance. And I get like every once in a while they'll take you off the ambulance and put you on the fire truck for the shift. And I was laying on the couch at work, and this song came on, and it was that At Last song, and I was like, oh my god, that's exactly how I feel when I get off the ambulance. And I made the video, and it was awesome. Everyone enjoyed it, so it was
So,
really
for
really
those
cool.
who don't know, like officially who you are and what Fire Department Chronicles is, who is Jason Patton and what is Fire Department Chronicles?
First off, yes, BSI, Scene Safety, NOAA, C. Steinberg, yes. Uh, so, Fire Department Chronicles is a fun and exciting look at the fire service and EMS, and just everything is so serious in the fire service and EMS and policing and everything that so every once in a while we need to laugh, and we want to make sure that we laugh in an appropriate way, but it was my take on everything that I've dealt with in the last 14 or 15 years, and kind of turned it into a fun subject, or at least as fun as possible. So it's worked out, thank God.
Yeah. So, who is Jason Patton aside from Fire Department Chronicles?
I would say an insane asylum candidate. No. I grew up in Boynton Beach, Florida. With my family. I have two other brothers, and then my mom and dad, or my dad was a mechanic, and then became a what do you call it? A general contractor. He's an incredible guy that could build stuff, and my mom has done mortgages her entire life, and the whole family's fun. I think we have a good time. My little brother, I think, is twice as funny as I am. He just hasn't found his niche yet.
Really?
So yeah, he's good. Yeah, he's very, very funny. Yeah. So yeah, grew up in Florida, and I was a mechanic before I became a firefighter. Did that for a little bit, and it was exciting. It was good, but not the kind of work I wanted to do for the rest of my life. So jumped into firefighting, and here I am.
Nice.
Yeah, yeah, it was real fun.
You're a firefighter and creating humor for those.
Yeah, I mean, you gotta laugh. Like
Yeah.
I've said that about, especially like right now. Yes, the world's imploding. It's insane. People are going into
Crazy.
absolute insanity, and no one knows what to do because
Mhm.
every other day there's memes out there that show people in fire and EMS. People are saying it's quiet. Can you hear me well, or is it?
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, is everyone sure is quiet, bro? Oh, never mind. I got that. So you can't say it's quiet, or the Q word is what they call it in fire and EMS. If you say that, you're out, man. Because we're so fire and EMS, we're super super superstitious, and like we don't talk about the call volume. If somebody calls and says, "Hey, how's your day going?" You're like, "Are you serious? Are you actually asking me that?" Because if you say it's going good, you're getting pounded for the rest of the shift, and that's it. So. No, but I think yeah. Right now, just nobody knows what's going on, and there's just constant, misinformation or good information is being squashed by bad information, and nobody actually knows. So, I think for a lot of people right now, they don't know where to look. And if you go on social media, there's just so much crap out there, and trolls on the internet, or someone crapping on someone else, or political battles. So you got to laugh. You got to have a good time. You got to somewhat find like some peace, some silver lining in all of this, because I got to tell you, if you don't, then, you know, you're going to, it's very easy to fall into that depressive state, because all you're doing is looking at the news, looking at the news, looking at the news. The news is going to cover the stuff that gets them the most reach. And it's going to be all coronavirus, all death, all the time. And it's like, all right, let's maybe find some light in all this, you know?
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I know so many people appreciate it, being able to laugh during a difficult time, which is basically what you do, you know, but obviously we're dealing with it on a whole other level right now.
Yeah.
So can you tell everybody, what is your relationship with Banyan?
Banyan. So mental health is a huge thing with first responders, right? Or anybody that's in the first responder field, even, you know, there's a big debate on whether or not dispatchers are first responders or not, but I include them in it just because of the crap they deal with. But mental health is bad across, or is hard for a lot of people across all the gamuts, but especially in first response. And with a lot of people, when they look at any kind of mental health issues, it is always pictured as weakness. They're always like, there's, you know, if you have any kind of issues, you complain at all, you say, oh, that call was bad. They're immediately like, you're not meant for this job. Like, time to go. So when I wanted to find a treatment center, at first it was just one treatment center that I wanted to find that could provide the services that were needed for first responders and it not be a gimmick. Because for a lot of places, it's like, look at our first responder program, and they show like a fire engine in a truck, and then people walk in. Yeah, stock photo of, you know, some guy smiling or like a serious face. Yeah, we call it the thank you for my service face. Like everyone's like, sir, like, look at me, I'm great, you know? So, you know, I wanted to find someone that wasn't just doing that. And even if they weren't specifically dealing with first responders, they were a group of good people. And then I came across Banyan treatment centers, and thank God, they have nationwide. They're nationwide. That was a huge bonus for me, because I'm not just in, you know, New Jersey or New York or you know, in Florida. It's everywhere, you know? So I wanted to make sure that I was working with people that were reputable. I own a CPR company, and I've dealt with a lot of treatment centers, and there are a lot of not good treatment centers out there. So thankfully I found Banyan, and they were just incredible from the second I started talking to them. So.
Yeah, just to touch on the CPR component really quickly, I know that I've talked to so many people that have used your CPR company, and they love having you come in to their businesses, and you just like add so much fun and animation to it. So if anyone's looking for CPR training,
DM me.
Sky.
Yeah, all that stuff. So that's why I do, like, every once in a while do an educational video, or I put out the CPR video. Like, people want to learn. They just don't want it to be in this like super like droning monotone method, because everybody does that, you know, like, and some people, they're really good at it, and some people enjoy it. Great. But 99% of the people in the world do not want to learn CPR or how to save a life or how to take gloves off or any of that kind of stuff. They don't want to do it in a super sterile thing. They want to laugh, and the more they're laughing, the more they're going to associate with memories, and the more they're going to remember the information. So. Yeah,
no, I totally get it. I appreciate being able to laugh when I'm doing something. It just makes it more of a memorable experience for somebody. Absolutely. You know, like, oh, I had CPR training today. Boring. My company made me do it. Or like, oh man, this guy came in. He was so funny. We did CPR training. It was a really fun time. You know.
That's the way to do it. I just spill coffee all over myself. God, I'm so. Even live, I'm charismatic.
So what has it been like going through this pandemic as a first responder and being an essential worker for you?
Yeah. Hey, Stewie. Hi. Sorry, I saw a hello in there. Hi, Stewie. Hi, Philly Medic.
There's been some interesting comments coming.
There always is. Yeah, there always is. Just someone's like, give me attention. Like, hey, how are you? No, it's, you know what it is that this came in. Some people said they kind of saw it coming. Thank you for the CPR comment. But some people said they saw it coming, but whether you saw it coming or not, this was a completely different change to everybody. So nobody knew what to do. And then I was seeing earlier, there's a meme out there, and it shows Chris Farley. his hair's like up and he's like staring. It's like a famous meme for a lot of other things, but it's talking about all the different changes that are happening every single day with COVID protocols and SOPs and all that stuff. We don't, every day something new comes out. They're like, you know, yes, you can touch them. No, you know what? Don't touch them. Like, and it's like just constantly changing. Actually, that's the medical field in general. One day they come out, they're like, yeah, take this pill. And then 2 months later, they're like, don't take that pill. That's not okay. That pill does bad things. No, it's probably become the definition of what first response is, and it's adapting and overcoming. So we've had to change the way that we look at this. We need to attack it like it's the most deadly thing. And then our responses have been different. But the biggest thing, I think, is that mental health aspect. So first responders in general don't understand what's happening anymore. And when we don't understand what's happening, it's very hard on us mentally because we're so used to being able to walk in, fix or rectify the situation as close as possible and get them to the hospital. And then with hospital workers, it's even harder for them because, I mean, no one could have ever predicted that we would need 50 million N95 masks. So nobody has it. So they're feeling let down by their own people, by the workers, stuff like that, or by the administration. And, you know, the administration's aggravated because they can't get the stuff. So I think in general, it's just, we are adapting very well, but it's still very, very difficult.
Yeah, no, I'm sure. And what kind of precautions have you guys been taking that's a little bit different from your, you know, typical day-to-day being on the job?
So on a normal, so everyone keeps saying BSI, scene safety, but it's called body substance isolation. It's, you know, gloves that, you know, everyone's wearing and picking their nose with. And then depending on the call, you know, face mask, eye protection, stuff like that. So we always say that BSI, scene safety, because that's something that's drilled into us from the second we become a first responder. But now we're at a completely different area. Africa, what's up? That's awesome, Mike. So that's right. Not often do you see hi from Africa. You know, we've ramped it up to a whole new level. If you are when you call, dispatch runs you through certain questions. If they think you have COVID or you may have been exposed or there might be a risk, then most places have what's called a COVID unit. We send a single person completely, almost in a full hazmat suit, respirators, everything. They check out the person. If they think that they might have it, then we have a whole different unit that responds, or when that unit responds, they're completely out. But on every single call, every first responder is wearing N95 masks. That was not up to a month and a half ago. That was not something that we did. We showed up gloves and eye protection at a minimum, but now everyone has masks on. So it's interesting.
So on the topic of, you know, the masks and gloves and whatnot, I've been watching some of your videos, and I know obviously you've been bringing some humor to glove wearing and mask wearing. And, you know, in your video, it never occurred to me, like, I'm sure there's a proper way to put on gloves because I don't work as a first responder. So I learned so much from that one video alone.
Yeah.
So I didn't know if you wanted to show some people maybe that don't know how to properly
Can you imagine walking in a house and I'm just in the house like, what's up?
I mean, I've seen so many memes of like some guy wearing gloves, eating pizza. Like, just people are doing the craziest things. I've seen them at the grocery store taking the mask off, like just touching things and then contaminating their mask. Like, you're defeating the purpose. So can you shed some light into like, how people should be doing this and being precautious?
So obviously, I mean, most people for number one, what I just did, don't do that, but my nose itched. So, no, but for a lot, so for a lot of people, they don't know because they've never been through the schooling. In fact, a lot of first responders won't admit to it, but even in school, you know, we talk about it, but it's real fast. It's like, hey, like, this is how you take them off, this is how you put them on, that kind of thing. But it's not really drilled into our heads. But what a lot of people just very basic understanding that when you put these on, these are extensions of your hands now. So if you touch yourself with these, then it's just like you not wearing gloves in the first place. So, you know, like, yeah, exactly. You know, but it's difficult because this is not that's the one thing. We make fun of people. We have a good time with it. You know, you're going to have to laugh and have a good time. But, dude, it's totally understandable. if you never put gloves on before, you probably won't understand that touching your face or anything like that, or how to do it properly, is not the right way to do it. And you've gone 45 years most likely and always been able to just pull out your phone and do what you need to do. So
you don't even know you're doing it.
You don't. It's an autonomic thing. Like, you just oh, my face itches, good, so on and so forth. The guy that was pulling it off with his mouth, though, that was probably the best one I've ever seen. He's literally in line with the glove in his mouth, like, like, that's awesome, good for you. Hello, hola. All right, so yeah, most people, when you put them on, just understand these are now extensions of your body, and now we have to take them off, because and the one thing I want to repeat, and everybody says this, like, washing your hands is the #1 way to prevent disease transmission. One of the coolest things I've ever seen is I lobe FDC. I lobe Horton. Thanks, buddy. I just said lobe. I assume that was supposed to be love. Once I saw this really cool graph one time. They sprayed a bunch of stuff on somebody's hands, right? And then they took the gloves off of them. Most of the disease that was on them, or the virus, or whatever the infection was up in their forearm area. That's where most of it was. So a lot of people, once they take the gloves off, they're like, I'm good to go. And then they wipe their forearm, like their head. They're like, okay, congratulations, you now have whatever you were trying to stop. So real simple. If you're ever taking gloves off, right? So we try to, these are a little tight, so hopefully they don't rip. But you always want to grab either the center of the glove or at least the bottom of the glove itself, and you want to try to pull forward. Okay, so now once this is off, this glove we'll consider it sterile. It's not, but hey. We don't want to touch the glove itself, because if we pull the glove off, we've now infected this finger, and this is my nose picking finger, and that's it. I'm gonna get it. So but we want to take this, okay, and we want to stick it underneath the glove so we don't have that problem. When we pull off, nice gentle pull. A lot of people commented because I just yanked it off. Yeah, if you yank it off and fling it across the room, now everyone has whatever junk you have. So, and we pull off, and that's it. All right. So we're able to pull the gloves off and dispose of them. Yeah, people are throwing them on the ground. Like,
it's crazy.
It's insane. But that's again, you want to get mad at people, but I also understand. Like, people don't think about it. And then in their mind, I swear to God, we'll say 80% of them are just throwing it on the ground because they're lazy. But we'll give humanity about 50% of them are throwing it on the ground. But the other 50% genuinely might be thinking, okay, these are infected. If I put them in my car, now my car's infected. Like, I'm going to assume that's the thought process, or at least hope that's what it is. So bring a bag. When you're done, put it inside the bag, seal the bag, now you're good to go.
Right.
So.
Somebody just commented that you have to strategically sling them into a trash can.
That's called
necessary skill.
It's called yeeting. Yes, it's called yeeting. You yeet the gloves into the, and it's normally in the back of the ambulance, and you yeet it all the way over the stretcher.
Is yeet really a thing? Because my stepson says it all the time, and I just think he's making weird sounds as
No, that's yeet yeet. That's like you let people know you're ready to go. Yeet yeet. Yeah, but it's always you either there's two types of people in the world. There's three types of people. One that throw them directly in the trash can. Two that sit them at the end of the stretcher when you're done. If you're leaving and you're not able to put it in there. Or the third person is the one that yeets it and slings it all the way across the stretcher. Hopefully making it into the trash can, but it's probably gonna hit somebody in the face. So that's pretty much like the engine guys most of the time. Very nice, sir. You got him. It's always the engine guys. Yep.
So let's talk about fitness and wellness during this time, because obviously gyms are closed, and I feel like everyone and their mom is outside running around, getting some exercise. What are you doing to keep yourself physically and mentally fit, because for a lot of people, exercise is like meditation to them.
Yeah. What's up, Tanner, and what's up, Shut Up and Train. Exercise is big, right? For a few reasons. Obviously, chemically, neurologically, it's good for you, right? So you start to, if you have any kind of weights, moving that kind of stuff, hopefully will increase a little bit of testosterone production. You'll get some hormone regulation there, so that's always good for you, right? But it's good to move. It's good to get outside of your normal routine. So yes, most people are doing home workouts, or at least attempting to do some kind of home workouts.
I've been attempting.
Yeah, 555 Fitness is a firefighter-based fitness group. A guy named Pip runs it. He's really, really cool. They have home workouts. Training Think Tank, they have home workouts. But you know, working out at home it's big. It's you know, especially just I tell people, go outside. Go outside for 5 minutes. You know, there's a big thing with, don't go outside with 50 people and go for a run. You're an idiot. Like, you're going to get, like, people are going to yell at you for that. But, you know, if it's you and your wife and you guys go for a run, whatever, you know. But vitamin D is really, really essential for a lot of neurological transmissions in your body. So, you know, just getting some sun on your face could make you feel a billion times better. So absolutely, exercising is a major thing for this.
So are you concerned about your fellow first responders during this time? I mean, obviously, I'm sure you are. And what can we do to help people, you know, help our first responders?
I think in general, you know, the number one thing is obviously try to stay inside as much as possible, right? Like, that's what we try to do. We want to stop that. There's a ping pong video out there that was incredible. It's a bunch of ping pong balls on mouse traps. And what they did was, yeah, I know, you're like, what? And it made so much sense though. They had 1,000 of them, we'll say, all next to each other. And they dropped one ping pong ball on it and it started spreading like crazy. Versus if they had them 2 feet apart, when they dropped the ping pong ball, never touched another mouse trap. So try to stay inside to, you know, to relax that. If you need to go to the hospital, call 911. That's what we're here for. You know, like, that's 911 is always here for that. But if it's not an essential emergency, or if you're in an argument with your neighbor and he's, you know, nothing really bad's gonna happen, you guys are just in a simple verbal argument, don't call the police. Like, we want to try to keep the first responders as healthy as possible by limiting the amount of calls that we're doing. So eat those Corona gloves. Wow, Horton, you have problems. Or drive yourself. Yeah. You know, again, but what we don't want to inundate the hospitals if we don't need to, you know, like sometimes staying home. But again, if you're thinking 911, call 911. I've said this, I open up a lot of my CPR classes with this. Like, if you're thinking 911, call 911. You can't call us for stupid reasons. I mean, you can, but I've been called for anything you can think of. Sore pimples. I had a lady call me, she hadn't pooped in 2 weeks. And then I had a guy call me, and we showed up at his house, and we go to knock on the front door, and his window's open. He's like, he's like, hey, don't knock on the door. He's gonna wake up the dog. He's like, there's a refrigerator out front. Can you just grab me a water? That's why I called you. So yeah, we're not allowed to punch you in the face. That's the number one part of our job. So.
So what about some positive things that people can do to support first responders? Obviously, of course, social distancing, avoid getting sick. If you don't need to go to the hospital, don't go, or go somewhere that can properly treat you without, you know, overrunning our hospitals. But I know there's been talk about the hospitals needing blood. And also, maybe you want to talk about what Banyan did with fire department coffee.
Yeah. Blood, huge. If you are able to give blood, give it. I didn't know this, but there is a massive shortage right now in blood. Obviously, people aren't going outside. So, give blood if you can. Go in. I mean, even a pint of blood can truly help you. Hello from behind you. Wow, Mountain Drew. Are you lonely up in the mountain, brother? But yeah, you know, try to give blood. Meals are big. Sealed meals. Like, we don't want, I mean, home cooked, we get it, it's awesome, but unfortunately we can't eat some of that stuff because people are weird and they'll like put drugs in our stuff. I mean, don't do that.
Don't drug your first responders.
Don't drug the first responders. It's not fun. But yeah, but Banyan Treatment Centers, we did our fire department coffee and Banyan Treatment Centers got together, did a really, really cool thing, donated 300 pounds of coffee. It was 50 different 6-pound bags to a bunch of different fire stations, and we want to make sure we went to fire stations, police stations, hospitals were really big on that list. And it was very, very cool. Honest to God, the best thing you can ever do for a first responder, you know, if you see them, just say, hey, thanks, man. Like, it's all good. We have a big thing with, we don't want to be thanked for our service, because we do it because we love it kind of thing. But a simple, you know, hey, you guys are awesome. First responders always enjoy that. And obviously, any of your police officer friends, remind them that firefighters are better than them. I mean, that's a whole different thing. So yeah, you're good to go. See, we're gonna find out right now if there's any police officer watchers in this right now.
So what about just anxiety in general surrounding coronavirus? What would you want to tell anyone that's struggling with, you know, coronavirus related anxiety or just depression in general during this time?
Sorry, we found the police officer. He said, no, you're not. I don't know his name. Rozowski, what's up? Nah, we're all the same. Anxiety, you know, so for a lot of people, anxiety, I believe, is based in the unknown, right? So a lot of people get anxiety because they either can't control a situation, or there's a lot of unknown factors. So their anxiety is the thought processes or the, you know, the future that they're making up in their own head. Like, holy crap, everything's going to explode and implode at the same time. Anxiety, so on and so forth. Number one, we're going to get through this. It's that simple. Like, the world will not implode because of this, but there are a lot of things that we have to do together in order to, you know, make this better. So if there is anxiety involved with this, if you are a first responder, talk to your supervisor. What are you concerned about? Oh, I don't have enough PPE. Okay, well, what can we do to rectify that? I tell you right now, a lot of people have their own personal stashes of this stuff, and maybe someone can hook somebody else up. You know, my department gave us a couple masks for home, so if a friend of mine asked me for it, I would give it to them. So again, anxiety normally comes from your own thought processes that may or may not be true. So talk them out. Therapists are amazing. Contact people. If you need to, you know, if you need to talk to someone, talk to someone, talk to a family member. I was in my house for about 10 days and I got a lot of anxiety just because I was in my own freaking house for 10 days. I love my girlfriend. She's incredible. But you know, like, it's a lot. It's a lot to be by yourself in your home or with another person in your home. And it has nothing to do with them, but man, human touch is such a big thing for a lot of us. Just touching someone, and that's been taken away. G Sugar, what's up? I keep calling her Sugar. I don't know why I had the G in there every time.
I see it too.
G Shuar. Yeah, it's talking to people. Like, get outside your house if possible, even if it's sticking your face out a window for 5 seconds. But, you know, the anxiety is probably being brought on by either too much Facebook or Instagram and you're watching way too much news, so back off that for a little bit. And then understand that we will get through this. You know, it's hard, but we will. Absolutely.
Yeah, no, totally. And I know for myself, like, I've read a bunch of things about the anxiety because people are stressed out about it, and just even coordinating and scheduling the time that you watch the news. Like, don't have it playing all day long.
No.
You're going to keep hearing the same negativity over and over and over again. You want to check in the morning and check in the afternoon. That's great. But other than that, there are so many resources out there. I mean, Zoom has like millions of more people on their software than they have ever.
Oh, yeah.
And honestly, I feel like I'm talking to my family more than I have ever.
I said to my girlfriend, first off, thanks, Max. Appreciate the positivity there, man. I told my girlfriend the other day, I was like, her birthday was the 30th. And I was like, yo, that was the best birthday I've ever been to. We had 3 birthday parties all through Zoom, and I didn't spend a dime. It was great. Like, it was awesome. Like, yeah, I mean, it sucks. But think about it. Like, you get to talk to all these people. You don't actually have to, like, touch people. Like, you have a good time. And I'm a big person. I love being around people. But I mean, sometimes, you know, driving from party to party to party can get annoying. And we had 3 of them with like 50 people. It was great. No problems at all. But yeah, use Zoom. Like, learn a new skill. That's a big thing right now. Like, DIY projects, dude. Figure out, build something, fix something that you had putting off because you just don't feel like doing it. Now you literally have nothing better to do. There is an actual, I mean, there are neurological, like chemical responses in your body when you get the satisfaction of fixing something or completing something. You feel good about yourself, confidence boost, and little goals, little tiny goals, you know, like I'm going to fix the sink. You fix the sink, you're like, number one, as a man, you just feel like, I'm a god now. I've just fixed this sink. I mean, come on. So there's always something good and positive in yourself when you're able to just, you know, get a new skill, figure out something.
Mm-hmm. Speaking of skills or projects, more specifically, do you have any fun projects coming up that you would like to talk about?
So I got a couple videos coming out that are going to be fun. I'm going to talk about what WebMD would be like if he was a real doctor, and imagine how that one's going to go. And then, yeah, Banyan and I are actually, well, we should hopefully be doing something again with Fire Department Coffee, helping with mental health for first responders as well. In May, we're going to do that since it's Mental Health Month. Yeah, just trying to stay busy. That's really it. Trying to stay busy and trying to stay positive and keep moving forward and just, you know, doing as much as possible and not just sitting in my house playing Call of Duty all day long. So, hey, oh, donuts. You're awesome. Thanks for saying that, buddy. Plus, I love donuts. Appreciate that.
So what would you say is the first thing that you would want to do after this whole crisis is over and we're back to normalcy? Have you thought about that?
What's up, Tanner? Matthew, what's up? So I think once everything is like said and done, one of the things that I never really appreciated was sitting at a restaurant. You know, just sitting at a restaurant and enjoying it. I got to tell you, the one thing that this taught me, I've learned two things from this. One is that there are more epidemiologists and virus specialists than I ever knew on Facebook. Like, there are just millions of them. Everyone knows exactly how this virus is spreading, and they need to tell everybody about it. And two, everything that I thought was super important really isn't important. Like, you know, what's important is human connection, and a lot of people have missed out on that. So this was a good lesson learner for a lot of us. But yeah, I think the first thing I'm gonna do is I'd like to get out and, you know, just go to a restaurant, sit down and just, you know, enjoy sitting around other people, kind of thing. I definitely think so. But I think for a lot of people, I think the one thing a lot of people need to have in mind is that the most likely trail of this will be they will release everybody. We're going to have a spike. It's because it's normal. It's the way it is. Just be prepared for it. And then it'll come back down hopefully pretty quickly. And then we'll be good to go.
Yep. Very much looking forward to that day.
What kind of training can you do on Zoom? Anything, dude. Anything, man. You know what? I'll do a video on firefighter training for Zoom, just for you guys. All right, I got you. Don't worry about that. Plus, Target Solutions is cool too.
So, I mean, just talking about mental health in general, you know, what would you say to someone that is hesitant to go into mental health treatment, or, you know, maybe they're abusing alcohol or drugs? Like, what would you say to them about getting treatment right now?
Don't let it keep going. The biggest thing, the number one thing I hear from people is, man, I wish I would have got it before I got my DUI. Like, yo, if you're drinking all the time, social drinking is normal for a lot of people, but if you're doing it to medicate, or you're doing it and you're driving drunk all the time, you know, it's not worth it, dude, because the DUI, especially with first responders, you know, some businesses you may get away with it, but with first responders, you get a DUI, you're done. Like, you're going to get fired from your job, and everything that you've worked for is now gone. So, you know, don't self-medicate. Talk to people. Therapy is okay. Therapy is normal. Like, if I went to your house and broke your leg, or you broke your leg, you would go to the doctor and get it fixed, right? Like, that's the way people think of the brain is like, if it's broken, it's a bad thing. Like, nobody, like, that means your brain is bad. Like, no, it's a normal thing. Like, neurological pathways cross, things get embedded in there that shouldn't be embedded. You saw way too many bad things, and your supervisor was like, suck it up, or you're not good enough for this, which is like not true in any way, shape, or form. So, you know, for a lot of people, if you're feeling that way, talk to someone. There's nothing wrong with going to a therapist. Talk to your buddy on shift. Sometimes just validating another dude's feelings or the way another guy is thinking will negate a lot of the problems. But if it's so bad that your life is now in shambles, you're about to lose your job, or you're going down that path, then just it's not, you know, check in, let people take care of you. It's always a better path than destroying everything that you've worked very hard for.
Yeah, thank you so much for that. I know so many people can appreciate hearing that, because it is difficult right now, and you know, people are drinking more at home. They don't know what else to do with their time.
Yeah, I totally understand that. Yeah. Well, it's like normally you would be like, all right, I got to wake up at 7:30 and go to work. But you're like, I don't have to wake up tomorrow, so I'm going to have a couple drinks. And man, let me tell you, it's really easy to start shooting down that path, because, you know, if you wake up every day and work out, right, that's your routine, and then that becomes a routine. So when you don't wake up and work out, you're like, huh, that's weird. The same thing will happen with alcohol or anything. If you do it all the time, like it's every night you have your nightcap, you have 2 glasses of wine or whatever, and then that 2 glasses become 3 glasses because you start a little bit earlier. Now you have nothing to do, so you're starting at 12, you know, so on and so forth. So, you know, replace, you know, I don't see a problem with having a drink every once in a while, but if you are doing it every single night and you have to drink to deal with your home life, you know, or the only way you can talk to the boys is by going to a bar and getting plastered, man, that's not a way to go, bro.
No. You know, it's interesting that you brought up, you know, the routines, because I feel like that's so crucial to our new norm right now, is making sure that you have a routine and sticking to it and trying to challenge yourself to make sure it is as organized as possible, because it's so easy for people to just kind of get lost in all of this.
Yeah, absolutely. And you know, so there's a saying with firefighters, firefighters hate 2 things: the way things are and change. And like it's a huge thing. So, and I think that's with society is like, yo, we don't want to do this anymore. All right, we're going to change it. No, we don't want to do that. So yeah, the change is very odd, but you know, that's where all the cliche sayings come in, right? So like, you know, with every closed door, there's a new one opened. Dude, sometimes it's weird, but sometimes just sitting back and going, all right, you know, what's going on here? Like maybe I can look at this a different way. Maybe I can get something positive out of it. It's almost guaranteed that if you sit still for 5 minutes and look at the positive things around you, you're probably going to find something good. This is off subject and very personal to myself, but my ex-wife and I didn't really get along for a while. And we have a kid together. I have a 4-year-old daughter. And over the last 3 weeks, we've gotten along better than we ever have in 4 years. So this is a positive thing that's coming from this, because we have to come together and we have to be, you know, cordial with each other to talk about things that are going on. And it's a huge positive. It's a huge positive in what's going on, and have gratitude for what you got.
Yeah, no, totally. I totally get it, you know, and thank you so much for sharing all of this today. I really don't have any more questions, so I figured that we would open it up. If people have some questions they want to ask, drop it in the comments. Everyone keeps saying it's too quiet.
Yeah, they're saying it's too quiet because they're jerks, because they know that if we say it's quiet, that they're trying to get a call to drop, even though I'm at home. If a call drops in my house, bad things have happened in my life. Go Bucks.
So somebody, Exceptional 305, asked, how do you handle the PTSD that occurs from your job?
So PTSD, I think PTSD happens to a lot of people, right? So it doesn't have to, so that post-traumatic stress, right? It's traumatic things that happen. It doesn't have to happen just at the job, right? That can happen from anything. So I think understanding that it's normal to think like, yo, so one of my worst calls I ever saw was one of my worst shifts, I had 3 dead people in one shift. I had a 32-year-old woman that was in cardiac arrest. She's my same age. She overdosed and died, and it was like, wow. Then I had an 80-year-old woman who had cancer, and she died, and I just from finding, she was like gone for a while, and I found her, I knew she'd been suffering. And then I had a lady that was cut in half. And it was insane, right? It was like I got back, what's going on, Germany? So I got back, and that's not normal to see 3 dead people at a shift. That's not normal. It's not normal to see 1 dead person in your life, let alone 3 of them. So I got back, and my captain recognized it, and he's like, yo, are you okay? And I was like, yeah, I'm all right, man, but it was kind of weird. And we talked it all out, and by the end of the conversation, 10 minutes, the end of the conversation, I was like, man, I feel so much better. So sometimes just talking to people, and if you're on the receiving end of that, dude, sometimes just validating what somebody says will make them feel so much better. Somebody says, man, that kid, I can't believe that kid died. Like, that's really messed up. Yeah, you're right, bro. That is messed up, man. Like, that's insane. Hey, so what are you feeling about it? Oh, I feel this, and this. Man, if you don't feel like you can fix it good enough, or you can't talk to them enough, then push them towards their supervisor. We have EAPs. We have therapists that we can go to. But validating what people are thinking is the best way to truly help start a good process for PTSD.
Yeah.
What's the best way to go about talking to your supervisor about PPE, and what do you do to get negative feedback? Okay, so the number one way to shut down a conversation is to start with an insult or yelling. So if you walk up and you're like, what is wrong with you people? Why don't we have PPE? Best way for them to go, screw you. I want nothing to do with you. But talk to them about the PPE. See what's going on. Come to them with a solution. If you go, so there's a saying that there's a million problem finders, but no solution finders. If you come up and you say, hey, I know we're short on PPE, but this a buddy of mine has a friend who can get the PPE. This is the price, so on and so forth. Dude, I'm telling you, even if they don't buy it, they're still gonna go, all right, you know what? Maybe we can't get it from them, but how about we work together and we figure out how to fix this problem? What is the unwritten rule of being a firefighter we wouldn't know, as in don't say quiet? Well, thanks for that one. An unwritten rule for firefighters. I don't know. I'll have to think about that. I'm sure there's a few out there that I can think of, or somebody might comment one. I'm sure there's a good one. What's the most stressful thing about being in or on a department? I think it's the most stressful thing of being a firefighter is the level that a lot of people want to keep themselves at. Understand, a first responder is a human. Like all of us, whether you're a first responder or not, we were born a human, and then we became, firefighters or whatever later. So understand that in your core, you are a person, you're a human. You've been trained to at a higher level and taught how to become a lifesaver, or someone that can, take situations and pick them apart and fix the problem that the person's having. But at the end of the day, you're still a human. So if you have thought processes or feelings, or you need to talk to other people, that doesn't make you weak. It doesn't make you weird. If you cry, that's okay. I said to someone yesterday, like, dude, sometimes if you're crying 50 times a day, you need to go to the doctor or something. You definitely need some therapy or some medication. But if you sometimes you cry and you're like, God, I feel so much better.
You gotta get it out.
Yeah, dude. People will laugh at an instant. They'll get mad at an instant. But the feeling of like crying, they're like, you can always tell because they're like, they're pooping. They're like, yeah. You're like, no, let it out, dude. It's okay. Nothing bad.
Your eyes are like popping out of your head, trying to hold it back.
Yeah, it's not okay. What are the best things to learn from a senior firefighter? All the things that you think talk to that guy about it. So I always tell people when they get out of paramedic school, I'm a preceptor, all the new paramedics that come on, I teach them. And I always tell them when they first get out of paramedic school, or even when they're in paramedic school, they all look confused. They're like, I can't show weakness. Yes, you can, Fireman 561. You can do it. Plus, it's not weakness. Weakness is not talking. That's weakness. But a lot of medics in medic school or EMTs when they're in EMT school or whatever, they're like, I don't understand any of this. And you're like, that's normal. You're not supposed to understand any of it. In fact, none of this stuff will ever make sense until you have actually applied it to something. Because doing something, they say like doing something over and over again with your hands, like muscle memory creates deeper memories. So for like new paramedics and stuff like that, or the senior guys, talk to them, see what they've learned. Hey, does this technique work? No, it doesn't work, but this does work. Oh, okay, cool. So always go with the experience. Unless they're just an idiot, then don't talk to them. Like, just walk away slowly. How can spouses of first responders help? Especially after a tough shift. Hey, so that's a big one, right? A lot of wives or husbands of first responders, whichever way, they're like, should I talk to them? Ask them. Like, do you want to talk about what just happened to you? Mm-hmm. People, set a boundary. Have a conversation one time. Just set a boundary. What are you comfortable with? Some spouses of first responders don't want to hear about the kid that had their head cut off. They don't want to know about it because they can't handle that, and that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But some people want to hear about it, and that's where you need to set the boundaries. Hey, I want to talk to you about everything, so now there's no wall between you. But if they don't want to talk about it, hey, I can't handle this. I'm sorry. I'm just too emotional that I can't deal with that stuff. But I'm going to make sure that you do have somebody to talk to. And it's not alcohol. That's, the number one thing. So
there's another one in here that I saw. Any tips on getting into a fire department? Like, how do you keep up to date with opening and good things to do or say in the interview?
Number one, staying up to date. Facebook, all the people that that are firefighters, watch out. A lot of times they'll post it. Google, their services. They're free. You just go on there and it'll tell you, like, you go on a website and it'll post all the openings. Stay in shape. Don't be a fat piece of crap, all right? So, like, get out there, work out, do what you're supposed to do, get in the best shape that you possibly can. Some of us are built differently than the others. I'm 240 pounds, right? I'm never going to get down to 190 pounds. So my cardio has to be a little bit higher than the average person, right? So work out as much as possible. 2 things. Keep your social media clean. I know that seems hypocritical to me, but don't post your political thought processes or bad stuff on social media. Fire departments will go through your social media to see what you're posting, and whether they want to admit it or not, they may or may not hire you because of what you're posting. And 2, keep your record clean, okay? Keep your record clean. Tanner, you're sexy, all right? So keep your record clean, all right? But don't drink and drive. Don't get speeding tickets. For a lot of us, when we get out there and we apply for jobs, there's 5,000 people applying for 10 positions. So make sure you're the best candidate. Last thing, applications. Fill them out completely, okay? Fill them out completely. Make sure you get every single point because they'll go through that. Oh, we asked for the middle name. He didn't put the middle name. He's disqualified. So fill them out completely.
So someone asked a question that they're in EMT school right now, and obviously they can't, do their hospital rotations because of COVID. So do you have any advice as far as studying things that they can't learn in the classroom right now? Are there any online resources that you're aware of?
Yeah, online. Google it. Google it all day long. Google's an incredible thing. Sit there, Google it. Hey, sample EMT tests, NREMT tests, all that stuff. Go through it. Or also, I think you have a book. If you read that, yeah, go on there. Oh, and one studying piece of advice I'll give you, the best way I ever learned. When I made my notes, I didn't just highlight things. What I did was when I wrote my notes, I would write the section of notes, whatever it is. The dose for blank is 300 milligrams, blah, 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 blah. So I would write 2 sentences, but I would leave blanks in the sentences. And if I couldn't go back and fill in the blank from each thing, I knew I didn't learn that section. So I had to go back and reread that section again. So it gives you It gives you 2 or 3 touches on each subject each time. Dark humor regulation. That's a hard one.
There are a lot of questions about dark.
So dark humor, listen, I'll tell you right now, dark humor is not a bad thing. There's tons of studies that show that people who are higher intelligence actually do dark humor, because sometimes dark humor tends to be a little more in depth, or it's not so, it's like slapstick, which I think is hysterical too. But dark humor's fine. There's nothing wrong with it. Just regulate your dark humor. Like, understand 2 things. Don't tell dark humor at your church group. That's not going to end well for you. Guaranteed.
Know your audience.
Yeah, know your audience, man. Know who you're talking to when it comes to dark humor. And look at what the humor is. Are you utilizing the humor to laugh about something and open up a conversation? Or are you telling super sick jokes to get a stimulus out of people? Like, if that's what you're doing, that's not good dark humor. If the other stuff, you're just kind of processing what's going on around you with a little bit of humor, then that's totally acceptable.
Let's see.
In front of the patients, probably not. I mean, just a thought, unless you really want to spice up your shift. It's a good way to get fired.
Did you ever learn about CERT, Community Emergency Response Team, or work with one?
No. No, I have not. What's the difference between a golf towel and TP? I'm not going to answer that. I don't know what the Proby means. Do you guys sell FDC coffee? Yes, firedepartmentcoffee.com. Head over there. It's firedeptcoffee.com. We got shirts, Fire Department Chronicles shirts. We got a bunch of shirts on there, coffee, all types of coffee. It'd be great. And if you put FR15 in there, FR15, you get 15% off. You're welcome. What's the stupidest call you've ever responded to? I mean, all the 911 calls are not stupid. What are you talking about? I've just responded to people that don't. Actually, dry hands.
The refrigerator guy?
No, the refrigerator guy was good, and then I had a lady call because her hands were dry. So sure, she needed. She's like, I need low. It was a really dumb call, but I'm telling you, I've never been so excited to encode to a hospital in my life. I'm like, she's coming in for the emergency lotion, man. Just get it ready. Dark humor in front of Proby or an Explorer. Yeah, I mean, not the Explorer because they tend to be younger, but Proby, sure, why not? They might as well get used to it since they're jumping in. Redhead here. How do you survive in Florida as a ginger? Tons and tons of sunscreen, sir. Tons and tons of sunscreen. Spread it on, wear a hat. Do you have any advice for women who want to be firefighters? Great question. Look, you're getting into a male-dominant thing, right? I think the service in general has, I don't want to say softened, but it's gotten to a point where we have an understanding that there is specific behavior that's not acceptable, right? You're getting into a male dominant, and not even male dominant, let's call it alpha dog, even though some people say it doesn't exist. You're getting into an alpha dog style industry where people always want to be the one on top. So they're always going to be like that all the time. So just have that attitude walking in. The best thing for females to do is if somebody gives you crap, you give it right back. If they're being inappropriate, then you take the appropriate steps to make sure it never happens again. But understand, you want to be the best of the best, right? You want to work out just like us. Try to get strong. We're going to be stronger than you because it's genetically like that, unless you're, just a larger female, then great. But just understand, you're getting into an industry that is driven by men. It's driven by alpha people, so become an alpha female. Just don't become a psychopath in the process. Enjoy it. Have fun. The best people I work with is that if I give them crap, they give it right back to me. And then they're one of the guys. So they're just another firefighter. That's what it's all about.
So we are almost out of time. Instagram Live will shut it down at 1 hour exactly. So quickly, I wanted to get this in there before we do get cut off. How do people reach you, or who can people contact if they're struggling with mental health or during this time? Do you have resources? Do you have a special phone number that people can contact?
I do have a special phone number, and I don't remember it, so we're just gonna go and start with that because I suck. What is your number? So, you gonna look this up right now? See, guys, this is called not being prepared. So we're just gonna go ahead and we're gonna start with.
No, you're fine.
Why don't you guys ask a couple more questions while we got a second?
All right. So if someone needs to get in contact with Jason and his team, please reach out to 888-926-4174.
So 888-926-4174.
888-926-4174.
Yes. 888-926-4174. You want to disconnect? Is back feeding? My girlfriend just walked in the room. She's been watching. So yeah, listen, guys. Here's the big one. The number one thing, okay, is if you need help, just reach out. Okay, if you call me, please. I'm always there. Anyone that's called Banyan that has needed help, I'm there the entire time through their process. I work with the team. I make sure that you get the appropriate care that you need, and I make sure you're treated right, because that's what you need, whether you're a first responder or not. If you're not a first responder, I still make sure that you get the same treatment, because that's what you deserve, right? But don't ever be afraid to reach out. We've had probably 40 or 50 people reach out, and not a lot of them ended up coming in. But you know what we did do? We made sure that they got the treatment that they needed. They got the appropriate tools that they needed to make themselves better, because that's what it's all about. It's about you guys. It's not about me. It's not about Banyan. It's always about you guys. So if you need help, just reach out. Again, the number is 888-926-4174. Okay? I don't claim to be perfect. So. I appreciate you having me on, though. I really do.
Yeah, thank you so much. It was great. I hope that we can do it all again soon.
Thank you. All right, guys, be safe out there.
All right, bye.
Bye.